And there I was the girl from Suits.
This one's wife. I am the Peacebringer. Hello. I'm H.G. Tudor. A common narcissistic manipulation is that the narcissist causes a shitstorm and then pleads that they just wish that everything would calm down and everything would be peaceful. The narcissist is the one that creates argument, rancor, disharmony, and then maintains that all along they have just wanted everything to be all right. They just wanted everybody to get along. How can it be that a narcissist adopts such a hypocritical stance that on the one hand they are the person that starts the problem, they're the one that creates the trouble, and then that they maintain that they are the peacemaker, that they just wanted it to all go away and that, look, there isn't really a problem here. The reason is that most narcissists, not realizing that they are narcissists, don't set out with the deliberate intent of causing a shitstorm. They believe that what they do is justified. In some instances, this is particularly applicable to lesser narcissists, they actually just don't see the outcome of their behaviour. They act, and when you call them on it, you're left with a blank look. Why are they looking so bemused? The narcissist simply doesn't understand what you're making reference to when you identify their poor behaviour. But what are you talking about? Asked the narcissist. That didn't happen. I didn't do that. Denial is issued, of course, because your querying of them as suggesting that they've caused a problem is a threat to control, and therefore their narcissism adopts the first line of the twin lines of the narcissistic defence, which is denial. As a consequence of the blindness of their narcissism, they actually don't see that they've done anything wrong. They just don't realise what it is that they've done. What? What have I done? They'll protest. And you think, surely you know what you've done. You must know what you've done. Stop pretending that you don't know. But they're not pretending. Because the way that their narcissism works, they honestly don't know. With a mid-range narcissist, they're more likely to know that they've done something, but they regard their behaviour as entirely appropriate because they are the victim. They didn't start it. It is like a film that has been edited. So you see this film, the narcissist provokes, you respond, the narcissist then reacts to that. The narcissist's film edits out the first bit, their provocation. So their recollection of events starts from you doing something which is a problem, and that the narcissist then reacts to your response, although they don't see it as a response, and thereby their reaction is entirely justified. Yes, I know I shouted at you, but it was only because you started shouting at me first. Whereas, of course, it was the narcissist that started arguing with you before that. You didn't just start arguing for no sake, but that's how it's portrayed to you. And it's often quite confusing and befuddling for the victim. Hang on a second, they were the one that started it, now they're denying that they did. The fact is that the way that the narcissism revises history causes that narcissist to see the interaction with you only in part, and therefore from their perspective, they're actually speaking truthfully. From their perspective, you did start it, and therefore they merely responded to it, and therefore what they did to you that was unpleasant was justified because you're the one that caused the problem in the first place. Thus, it comes to pass that particularly with mid-range narcissists, they will portray themselves as the peacemaker, because the creation of the shitstorm by them in the first place gets edited out. Your response to what they did is seen as the instigating act, which they then react to. You started it, they didn't. Therefore, their response is justified. And invariably, they will talk about how, I don't bear any ill will towards you for what you've done, and you're left thinking, you bear ill will towards me, you are the one that created the problem in the first place. It's okay, I just want to move on from all of this. Hang on, you want to move on? You were the one that kicked off in the first instance. And thus it becomes very confusing for the victim. And we see a classic example of this particular type of narcissistic dynamic from this one's wife, as reported by Tamantha Ryan in page 6. What she has to tell us is as follows. This one's wife reportedly doesn't have any negative feelings towards Prince Harry's brother, Prince William, or Kate Middleton, and just wants peace at this point. Isn't that gracious of her, valuable viewers? Gosh, isn't she a wonderful woman? She doesn't have any negative feelings towards them. Why does she say this? Because in her world, they are the instigators of the problem. She is the victim, and therefore she believes that she's behaving graciously when she states, oh, I don't have any ill feeling towards you. I don't have any negative feelings towards you, even though you're the ones that started it. Of course, everybody else is thinking, it's the other way around. You were the troublemaker. They have just responded to the way that you've behaved. The article continues by explaining, after Spare, Harry and this one's wife realised, okay, we're ready to move on. We want to focus on our future. We can have meaning and importance separate from the lives we had previously. The pal added, this one's wife doesn't harbour any negative feelings. Now, pausing there, the vast majority of people would say, well, nor should she, because she is the one that caused the problem in the first place. But this demonstrates the arrogant, high-handed, grandiose nature of the narcissist to say, you know what, you've been absolutely terrible towards me, but it's okay. I don't bear you any negative feelings. Then comes, of course, the facade management and the deluded view of herself as being the one that's been hard done to. She just wants peace and knows you can't find peace if you harbour resentments, i.e., you have done dirty to me, but I'm not going to harbour my resentments towards you. I'm going to be the bigger and better person. I just want peace. This leaves many a victim with their gas being flabbered because they're thinking to themselves, hang on a second, you're the one that just waltzed in here, caused a huge brouhaha, and now you're behaving like you're the one that brings peace. Who do you think you are? And the short answer is, they are a narcissist, and particularly mid-range narcissists behave this way. This one's wife, 43, hinted at wanting to make amends with the royal family during her and Harry's recent trip to Colombia. So much of how I approach things is less about the fight and more about how do we show up in the space and wash things over with love and kindness and generosity, she said during the August the 18th summit. Again, you'd be thinking, have you heard yourself? Less about the fight when you are the one that falls out with people left, right and centre. Your father, your half-siblings, your brother-in-law, your sister-in-law, your father-in-law, your stepmother-in-law, former friends, former colleagues. But she doesn't see it that way. She sees herself as the peacemaker, that she's spreading love and kindness and generosity, because that is the delusion of her narcissism. Many people will be left shaking their heads, thinking, you have got some brass neck woman to be saying all of these things given the way that you have behaved, but understand from her perspective, and I'm not telling you this so that you feel sorry for her or like her, I'm telling you this so you actually understand why she does as she does, and it helps you understand why the narcissist behaves as she does. She simply thinks that she's the one that's hard done to, and that she is the one that brings peace. Thus, she rattles on in this fashion, making out that she's not going to bear any resentment, when of course it's the other party that would be entirely justified in bearing a resentment towards her. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.